While we often feel secure in our daily routines, is the country we reside in truly as safe as we think it is? The reality is that the global situation is far more complex and dangerous than we often consider. The world's geopolitics is increasingly unstable, as evidenced by ongoing conflicts such as those between Ukraine and Russia, or Israel and Palestine. These conflicts have the potential to drag other nations into the fray as allies or adversaries. Moreover, there is a growing number of countries developing nuclear weapons, armaments capable of annihilating millions of lives and disrupting ecosystems in an instant. And to make matters worse, many nations are racing to display their nuclear capabilities, a move that can escalate the risk of a major disaster in the form of a nuclear threat. Our understanding of nuclear power began on July 16, 1945, in Alamogordo, New Mexico, as part of the Manhattan Project involving renowned scientists like Robert Oppenheimer. Just 3 weeks later, Hiroshima and Nagasaki became tragic examples of the destructive potential of these weapons. Nearly 200,000 lives were lost, and massive devastation occurred. When a nuclear weapon detonates, the immediate effects of the explosion are utterly devastating. Depending on the type of weapon, this explosion activates either fission or fusion processes at the atomic level. The result? The temperature of the explosion can reach over 100 million degrees Celsius, the same temperature as the core of the sun. In such extreme heat, anything in the vicinity of the explosion's epicenter, whether it's buildings, plantations, animals, or humans, would be instantly disappear. Their weapons operate on 2 basic concepts: nuclear fission and fusion. Firstly, in fission, the nucleus of an atom, such as uranium or plutonium, splits apart, releasing a tremendous amount of energy that results in a massive explosion. Secondly, nuclear fusion involves the merging of light atomic nuclei, typically hydrogen isotopes, in a process similar to what occurs in the sun. The outcome is an explosion that is even larger and more powerful than fission. Although fusion produces fewer radioactive materials, its destructive power is still immense, with long-lasting effects. After the initial explosion, the subsequent effects are immediately felt. The shockwave generated has the power to flatten buildings and structures within a broad radius, demolishing nearly everything in its path. This is followed by a heat wave with temperatures around 6,000 degrees Celsius, capable of inflicting fatal burns and causing damage up to several kilometers away. If you think surviving the initial blast is a win, think again. Even after the shockwave and heat subside, the effects of radiation begin to manifest, with the potential to damage DNA and cause serious diseases like cancer. Moreover, the long-term impact of the explosion is also highly detrimental to the ecosystem. Radioactive pollutants can contaminate water and soil, disrupt the food chain, and harm biodiversity. Pollution from a nuclear explosion seeps into the soil and water through a phenomenon known as nuclear fallout. The radioactive substances released, such as strontium-90 or cesium-137, have long half-lives, some lasting decades. This means they will remain active and hazardous for an extended period. This contamination can affect the food chain. For example, strontium-90 can be absorbed by plants and then enter the bodies of animals that consume those plants, ultimately impacting human health for 1 or 2 generations. The concept of nuclear winter, popularized by scientists Carl Sagan and Richard Turco in the early 1980s, is not merely a speculative idea, but a potential global crisis backed by scientific theory. According to this dire prediction, large-scale nuclear warfare could unleash soot and dust into the atmosphere, effectively blocking sunlight and dramatically lowering Earth's temperature. In this scenario, the sun, usually a consistent and abundant source of light and warmth, would be obscured by dense clouds of particulates, leading to a series of catastrophic climatic and ecological consequences. This hypothetical scenario finds some historical parallel in the aftermath of the 1883 Krakatoa volcanic eruption. The event spewed ash into the atmosphere, causing a phenomenon known as the Year Without a Summer, which affected weather patterns in parts of Europe and North America. Crops failed, farmers faced significant losses, and some people were even forced to abandon their lands for refuge in forest. In the context of a nuclear winter, the ramifications could be even graver. Food production could drastically decline, paving the way for widespread famine. Moreover, the ensuing economic and social instability could have far-reaching, long-lasting repercussions on global well-being. If a nuclear war were to occur, the winner wouldn't be either of the warring parties because, in reality, we would all lose. The impact wouldn't just affect 2 or 3 countries. It would envelop the entire world. Therefore, we all have a responsibility as part of the global community to prevent such a disaster. With the potential for such immense destruction, pressing questions arise. Could nuclear wars erase a country from the world map? Or devastate half the world? And what would become of humanity's future? Lastly, if you enjoyed our explanation, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell on our channel to show your support. And see ya on the next videos.